Welcome, it's the Red Leaf Retrocast. Colin's here. Joey's too drunk to join us, but we have a special guest. It's Kevin. He's back.
I am Joey now.
Well?
I'm him. I am drunk.
It's a little early for that. I guess Sunday, mimosas are always an option.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you ever have an apple cider mimosa?
I have not. What is
this?
It's
delicious. Delicious. It's just orange juice. Get rid of that and put apple cider in there.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful. Try it. Great.
I guess I will have to try it someday. Today is Colin's pick on this podcast. The theme. What did you choose?
Called It's All in the Mind. Basically games where you use psychic powers to some capacity.
Love it. I was really into this when you chose it, because the two games that we decided, that you decided to pick were kind of right up my alley.
Yeah, it's like both of them were basically white whale games for me.
Oh, really?
I wanted to play them for so long, but never got around to it. And I just looking along my PS2 shelf and saw them side by side and noticed they had that in common. So I figured, why the hell not?
They still have the plastic on them.
Nope. Although I hadn't cracked open one of them.
Okay. All right. So lots of news and personal stories to get into today. This is a monumental episode.
For sure.
You guys are talking to the proud owner of a brand new PlayStation 5
model of a PS5. Yes, congratulations.
I finally have one. The day has come. My happiness has peaked for this year.
Make sure it's not a hollow shell.
What's your favorite PS5 only game that's out for it?
Ratchet Clank right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot there's more than one. Never mind.
There's quite a few exclusives.
Yeah, come on.
I have a few of them.
Give me one more other than Ratchet Clank and Returnal.
Gran Turismo 7?
Yeah. I was not expecting that. I thought that was on 4 too, actually. All right, you got me.
You want to try again?
I don't know. I've been so out of the loop of like what's coming out on PS5 because it's just been such a headache to get one that I'm just like, I'm going to wait till these things are available.
Yeah, I mean, they're still really tough to get. There's no doubts. It was a few weeks ago, I went to the GameStop that's down the road from where I work. And I'm like, hey, any PS5s? And they go, oh, we have an event in a few weeks on Friday, March 10th. And I'm like, okay. Or on March 11th. It's like, okay, what do I do? They go, well, we open at 10. We're only getting maybe at least 2. It's like, okay, great. So I was contemplating for a few weeks. I'm going, what time do I get over there? Is it worth like missing half a day of work and then just staying the extra half a day and then I'm mad at work if I get one? So I'm like, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll take an early lunch at like 8:30 after the morning meeting. Remember, I get to work at like 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, morning meeting, I'll leave. And if I pop over there and there's like 3 people in line, I will like just turn back around and eat lunch. And that'll be my lunch break. Easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too early. I'm not really missing work and didn't really miss anything. Because you can't get it if you don't at least try. So I kind of asked around like various stores. I'm like, how early are people like lining up for these things now? And what's happening is, unless you directly ask these stores, they're not telling anybody until essentially an advertisement the day before. Okay? So GameStop on March 10th puts out like an email and a bomb in the afternoon that says, hey, select stores will have PS5s. Check your local listings to see if they get any. So I clicked on the local listing, and it just so happened that the GameStop down the road wasn't listed.
Okay.
So I'm like, wait a minute. They told me they're getting some. This site is saying this GameStop doesn't exist.
They're probably going to shut that one down this year.
Well, they shut down a different one, but regardless.
Yeah.
So I went over at 8:30. Nobody there except the Panera Bread was open. So I saw a bunch of old people walking by, and I'm like, no way they're gonna get in line. So I happened to get a spot that was looking directly at the store, and I'm like, as soon as I see like one person walk up, I'm going. And at 9 o'clock, I went, screw it. I'm not chancing that. There could be like 6 people walk up at once, or someone just drives up and they drop them off. So I walked up at 9, and apparently I was the one. People followed behind. So 3 other people followed behind me, and we notice a little sticky note on the door that says, "We will have 4."
Oh,
So I was the first in line. Got the only bundle that they're selling, because that's what a lot of these stores are doing, is selling bundles to try to negate scalpers or people from buying more than one.
right.
Eventually. So it came with a lot of like cool shit that I probably was going to buy anyways, such as Gran Turismo and Horizon Forbidden West. So I was like, 2 games I wanted. And it came with a nice little fancy charger, so I don't have to deal with my cat biting cables anymore. So that's nice.
That is good.
Yeah.
Cool.
The only thing I didn't need was the brand new headset. Didn't need that. So I was talking to the people in line. One guy works, he lives at the apartment complex that's like right behind where I work. So that was kind of funny. And he actually knows people I work with. That was kind of weird.
Making friends.
Yeah, making friends. And then this was the funny story. One of the other guys was from Brazil, and he's a professional Gran Turismo and Forza 1 like driver.
Oh,
Really?
And he hasn't been able to get a PS5 because in Brazil, it's fuck expensive. It's like, they're like $3,000.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be underestimating, but that's what he was saying. He goes, oh yeah, I was here for a GT Sport tournament in like Rhode Island. And I was like, what? He goes, oh yeah, it's like, it's down in Providence. And he actually researched and called all the GameStops in Rhode Island, checked the listings as I did, and he noticed this store wasn't listed, and he goes, this is the one I'm going to get my PS5.
Did he get one?
He did get one. He was
good for
fourth.
him.
Yeah, he was 4th in line. And what's
Well,
weird
that
is
is amazing.
nobody else walked up. But when the store opened at 10, there was like 60 people that showed up behind us. And as I was walking out, the woman in the store goes, we only have 4, and then they all turned around.
That's.
Yeah, so that was wild. Yeah, he was showing us his Gran Turismo setup. He's got a Formula 1 like game sponsored like chair, and he's got he says he plays on a 40-inch 4K television, and his like Formula 1 sponsored wheel and gear setup was at least $3,500.
My God.
Yeah.
Man, 11.
Yeah, so, and he got his he says, as soon as I get the PS5, I got to go hop on a plane going back to Brazil this afternoon.
That's ridiculous, man. Like, this is like almost turning me off from getting a PS5. Like, I just want it to be there and be available to buy. Like,
Xbox isn't that much easier to get. It just happens to be made in this country, I believe, or at least most of it. And that's why there's like a little bit more access to getting one and a little easier.
Maybe,
but the
like,
scalpers are still getting it online.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, this whole generation, I feel like, is getting really fucked by, like, I know chip shortages and whatever. We can blame everything on COVID, but it's just like, I love PlayStation, but like, this is not worth the effort right now for me to get one. I'm happy you got one. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I am too. I'm very
It's
happy.
just like, I got an email from PlayStation that was like, you're invited to have the opportunity to spend $500 and maybe get a PlayStation 5. I'm
Sounds like a WWE advertisement.
yeah, I'm like, kind of.
You have a title opportunity in a contenders match for this PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, why can't I just get one? Like, why is it so hard? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you want to blame something else, but it really is just COVID, chip shortages, and now the war.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like this whole This whole generation is going to be very held back, and it might be a really long generation of stuff, but like
it's going to be this. Yeah, this technology seems legit next generation. So I ended up walking out also with Elden Ring, and I did the power move. I've had this money saved since before the PlayStation came out, and then I saved another like $250 on top of it with bowling money. So I've just been adding, 50s and 100s here and here and here. So I paid all cash. I dropped that stack of money right in front of the register, and she goes,
then you were robbed. Wild.
And the woman behind the counter goes, "It's only me." I go, "Cool. Don't pocket it." So she got a big smile on her face. She laughed because now she has to use the machine to check every single bill that I just dropped in front of her.
Jesus.
Oh man.
Monster.
Yeah, so she had quite fun. It was like a big adventure and a power move. It was a good power move. Look, man, we live for just simple moments like this of dropping like $900 of pure cash right in front of somebody and go, "I want that."
He's so terrified I would get like just someone would knock me out, steal my PlayStation and my $900. I'd be like, "Oh, well, that sucks."
Yeah. So I walked out with Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, brand new PlayStation 5, and Elden Ring. And then, because I got Christmas gifts of PlayStation 5 games, and I had a couple good deals on some other games, I already have 6 PS5 games to play. And I think I'm probably going to do something special for the Patreon with these games.
Ooh.
Might as well,
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. So people can live through you as if they own a PS5.
Yes.
And
Yes.
one day when
indeed.
it's officially released, I'll get one.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to do like a hardware review in my experiences as I go through various games with the controls and what these games are and if they're truly like next generation. A little teaser is I'm going to tell you guys the experience with the haptic controller so far because this thing is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So the first game I booted up installed was Ratchet Clank Rift Apart. And you guys are all familiar with Ratchet Clank and what it's about.
Yes, the boy and his weasel.
Wrong
raccoon and his friend.
studio. Actually, no, it's the same studio, isn't it?
Actually,
No, it's Naughty Dog and
no.
Insomniac. Yeah, different studio, same concept.
Yeah, one of the it's the bear and the bird one.
Well, you're getting warmer, I think.
That's
maybe.
going back
Okay.
even further.
I'm close.
So, the standard gun you get in Ratchet Clank games is, well, you get the bomb glove, you get the like pistol shooter that shoots a bunch, and your wrench. So, I'm going through the tutorial of the game, and it tells me to fire the gun with the R2 button. I go, okay, easy. And it's like stuck. I'm like, what is going on? Because when I was like testing out the controller, it's like, okay, flip, flippy, flip, press. And then another screen pops up and he goes, oh, hold it down for like accuracy and then press the trigger harder for rapid fire for less accuracy. So I'm like, what? And it has like crazy tension controllers where you actually have to squeeze the trigger hard to pull these weapons out, and each weapon has a slightly different like trigger mechanic to how you utilize these just triggers in general. And I believe that's kind of what the fancy Xbox One controllers have that are like $300 once upon a time. You remember those?
Yeah, I think they do. I don't know if it's that complex.
But this is I've held one of those and it reminded me of that, but this was like super specifically programmed and the tension is just super like it's the most weird awesome thing I've experienced like in a new technology in quite some time. Because I thought the controller was legit broken when I first pressed it. I thought I had a broken controller. And then as I was playing, I'm like, oh, I really have to kind of pull this a little bit harder than just like pressing a button because that's what they've always felt like, right? We're experienced gamers.
Right.
And the more weapons that I use that come out, the more unique they get, and the vibration is, I think it's more responsive than a Nintendo Switch with its little whatever they called their vibration controls that they got in there.
Oh, that HD Rumble.
HD Rumble, yeah.
Yes,
This is better.
In all those games.
This is better
like,
because these games that are coming out for these games, this one game I've played so far, way more responsive, way more unique rumble. Like, you get a little rumble tap every time Ratchet runs, which, and it's, but it's not just, you remember the PS2 rumble where it was the spinny, jagged thing in the controller edge?
Yes.
And it would just turn on anytime. This has unique vibrations to each and every little thing in the game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're running, it's just a tiny little tap vibration you can kind of feel. So it's the immersion just in your hands is so fun and unique and different that so far I recommend it. Maybe when I play other games and it's like, maybe it could be annoying, maybe it could be too much, I don't know, but Ratchet and Clank is nailing it so far. I played it a few hours. Very fun game.
Nice.
Yeah, but as for, so I didn't expect to get a PS5, so just the week prior, I bought Triangle Strategy for the Switch.
Good luck.
Yeah, what?
You're not getting to that.
Nah, I think that's going to be on hold for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't get too far. I only played like a couple hours or something. It's a tactical RPG game, much like in the sense of Fire Emblem, but with the graphic art design of Octopath Traveler. So if you're into tactic games and you liked Octopath Traveler, imagine that. So Fire Emblem, Three Houses type tactics gameplay,
right?
But with the old school upgraded JRPG art design, which is very beautiful. I put a screenshot of it on my Twitter at BowlingJD. You can probably go check it out. So far, so good with Triangle Strategy, but that's likely going to be on hold for a long time.
Yeah. Hopefully you get back to it and you won't have to like restart or anything.
I didn't get far enough where I will need to restart. It's got a little basic story where it's so it's 3 kingdoms, and they all have their own unique resource to survival. There's the main city we're at now, where we start, has the seaport, so it has the resource of travel. Then there's the mining country, which just has like iron ore and stuff. And then there's a third one that has salt. And each of these 3 kingdoms has a unique like religion that operates their society and government. And of course, they're all in like crazy war. And there hasn't been war for about, I want to say 40 years or something.
Okay.
And the mining kingdom and the seaport kingdom have agreed to an arranged marriage between not the royal families, but kind of, let's call it the second in command, essentially. As my cat starts running around the apartment. Yeah. And it's a long time to get going in the game because it's a lot of story. It's a tactic RPG, so it's very dialogue based, but I kind of have a coffee and sit back, and it has an auto play button where you can the story kind of plays out for you. You don't have to keep clicking X to continue the dialogue. So
good.
That's nice, and I'm still getting used to the tactics to it all. There's something in the game that's like Fire Emblem, where if you have an adjacent enemy or adjacent partner to an enemy, that when you attack, the adjacent partner will also attack the enemy.
Okay.
So that
is like Fire Emblem.
Yeah, it is to an extent, but you got to build up their like partner aspects to them all. I don't know if this is going to have that. I can't tell yet. But
I think Fire Emblem, the more time you spend, the higher the chances.
Yeah. I don't know about this one, but I think that's the triangle, and the triangle strategy is to develop this tactic where you can flank enemies and be adjacent to each other, and each one has a different flank ability to go with it. Yeah, it's kind of complicated when I first booted up, so it might take some time to get used to. But again, probably won't get the triangle strategy for a while. I'm knee deep in my PS5 and the UI, which doesn't have wallpapers, by the way, or themes.
So the Switch is better than a PS5 because the Switch has 2 themes.
Yeah, black and white.
Take that, Sony.
Yeah. But it's more, it's like the PS5's UI is more interactive, I guess, and pretty responsive compared to the PS4. So that's a big upgrade. I don't know how much it came out like this at launch.
Yeah.
It's a year and a half later now.
Well, as long as you're enjoying it, I mean, that's a good thing. I only have future proofing issues with it.
What do you mean?
So, like, my issue with, like, the PS3 right now is, like, first of all, it's called the DualShock 5. I'll never call it a DualSense. The PS3 has this issue where, like, it has those games that use 6-axis, right? But you may notice they don't make PS3 controllers anymore.
They do not.
So, a lot of games that are Sony first party, like Killzone, Ratchet, Uncharted, and Last of Us even, they all use 6-axis stuff. But if your DualShocks break, you can't continue in those games. So I get worried when, like, this gimmicky stuff, not that it's bad, gimmicky might be a bad word, like all that trigger stuff you're talking about, like, one day in the future when, like, they don't make DualShock 5s anymore, still calling them that, like, I don't know, I worry about dumb stuff like that because, like, there's a point where I didn't have a DualShock 3 and I'm like, oh, I can't play Killzone.
Well, I get what you're saying, but my optimistic argument would be if you look at all the other gimmicks from past video game consoles, there's always somebody that creates like a small little company or thing that creates their own repro version of those gimmicks that will work.
I hope so, but like I haven't found
like,
a workaround for PS3
like they don't make light guns anymore, but you can buy makeshift light guns that'll work on like an HD TV.
I guess so.
Or you can, or something as simple as the cable connector from a Genesis to a Sega CD, or is it the 32X? It's one of those two.
I think they have one that's like a 3-in-1 now.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, why would someone make this? Why would they care? But the amount of gamers out there, especially retro gamers, love this stuff.
I do hope it happens. It's just I don't know. I worry about that ever since I was at a point where I was like, I don't have a DualShock 3, and I'm like, fuck. Like, I know it's an oddly specific problem.
Yeah, I think right now a lot of people don't consider PS3 retro when it kind of almost is now.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, isn't that wild to think about?
Somebody mentioned today that the Wii is as old now as the NES was when AVGN started making videos.
Yes.
That's there funny. You go. Feel old.
That's amazing.
Yep.
So what you're saying is there can be an angry video game nerd 2.0 that can do like Wii shovelware games.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he might as well just start that. When's the last video he made? I should look.
He comes out with ones still pretty often.
Yeah, I like that guy. Still going at it.
Still going. Yeah. Very simple. I guess I'll just finish off with one last thing is I beat this game called Infernax. It's a new game this year.
Oh, I'm going to play that.
I was telling you about it, Kevin.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. I want to play it.
It is. I highly recommend it. Colin, do you remember Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest?
Yeah, I remember the game, but I didn't actually play it.
But you know what it's about. It's like that little open world back and forth Castlevania game that's really bad.
Yeah.
Not a great sell job you're starting on.
Well, I mean, that's what Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest is. It's a bad game.
Remember how bad it was? You remember that game?
Yeah, you remember like all these cryptic clues that you couldn't figure out, and the controls were kind of hard and very difficult and not very forgiving. Well, Infernax is that game, but good.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, and as soon as you boot it up, I was like, and a friend told me about this game, and he's like, "Oh, you would love this." I go, okay, what is it? And he gave me the same description. It's Castlevania 2, but good. Like, okay, I guess. So I looked into it. I'm like, wait a minute, this game looks awesome. It seems to play awesome. And as soon as you start it up, it has like similar music. It is definitely a, like, let's call it a spiritual successor to Simon's Quest. Because it even has a couple funny little gimmicks thrown in the game where you can go into a lower level, and it's almost made the exact same way where you lean in the corner, and if you stay there for 5 seconds, a tornado will take you to another area.
Oh,
This one, I go, well, this is just like Simon's Quest. It just looks like somewhere that doesn't lead to anything, right?
right.
And so I go over there, lean in the corner, and I was in Discord playing with some friends. I was just had the game going, and I go, I'm just gonna lay here for a little bit. 5 seconds later, a tornado comes, a cutscene happens. I'm like, oh my god, they're actually gonna like take me somewhere. Maybe it's like a bonus area. No, the game killed me. It goes. Your main character made a dreadful mistake as this tornado came and ripped him apart.
I love it. I love it.
So there's goofy little Easter eggs like that in the game in an homage to directly to Simon's Quest. And most of the game functions where you have a little hub castle, and you can do the first, I want to say 3 castles. There's 5 in total. I don't think it's 6, 5. And you can do the first 3 in any order. They're pretty equal in difficulty. Mostly, and just your general explanation, you will easily be able to find and figure these out. Like, the puzzles aren't too hard. They're pretty self-explanatory. The magic gimmicks are easy enough. There is one part of the game, trying to get to Castle, I think it's 4, where you have to have a lightning ability, stand at the edge, and I didn't really get any hint that I had to stand at the edge, activate the lightning ability, and the castle will come up from the water. I had no clue. I had to look that up because I just had no idea where to find this sucker or where it was.
Right.
It does have the knockback control to it when you get hit. That does exist.
Control how much you want to get knocked back?
Well, the big control upgrade is you can move in the air.
Ooh.
So the knockback is pretty... It just seems like... It seems okay because you can control yourself in the air more. So when you jump in the air and there's like, let's call it a Medusa head. In this game, it's eyeballs. When eyeballs are coming at you, you can much easier... It's much easier to hit them with your little whip gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I didn't mind the knockback controls really at all. There was only a handful of times I fell in the game. There is a couple wacky platforming sections. Not too bad. And the game they have 2 options. You can play old school style, where if you die, you kind of lose all your gold or something that you've been kind of farming, so you can buy more weapons or upgrades, armor upgrades, whatever. Or you can play what is called casual mode, which is essentially the same difficulty, but you keep your stuff when you die.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend either or. Either or is good. And a big gimmick to the game is you can do an evil path or a good path. So the evil path is essentially you succumb and support the evil overlord, and you essentially take over his job when you do enough evil deeds and the evil enemies that you encounter through the game, and it gives you choices. And it's very clear like what the choices are, except the very first one of the game where you encounter this like zombie thing, and it says slay him or like spare him. So I'm like, oh, I'll slay his ass. And then a woman comes and goes, you killed my husband. He wasn't harming anybody. That's an evil deed if you slay him. If you spare him, so you might want to, if you want to do one path or the other, you need to choose that first one correctly. I did not and had to kind of restart the game, and I chose the good path. I'm definitely going to replay this one day. Not now. To do the evil path, because there's some fun shit you can do with the evil path, like destroy a dam, and it'll flood and kill an entire town.
That's pretty cool, actually.
That's kind of, yeah. You can. There's like a demon in a cage, and it's like, oh, set him on fire or essentially free him, and then the demon will like kill everybody.
I like it. I need to play this now.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite games of the year. I'm definitely going to be more in tune with a game of the year list this year as opposed to last year, since I didn't have the PlayStation 5 yet.
Gotcha.
And I beat Metroid Dread. Holy shit!
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah,
detail.
I beat it just the previous weekend before I got my PS5.
Oh man.
Yeah, so the game is really good. The Emmys, take it or leave it. I don't think it accomplished what they thought it was going to do. And Kevin, you and I had a kind of a conversation over the Emmys and Metroid Dread.
hate them. I hate them all because they don't have any consistency mostly.
Well, yeah, it's kind of random. The Emmys backtrack too much for my liking, especially the later ones.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of hang out in the same area, and I found myself, instead of doing kind of the stealth thing that it wanted you to do at the beginning of the game, which seemed more manageable, later in the game it just seemed like I had to find the exit as quick as possible and leave.
Right.
So I wasn't loving that aspect. However, the way the game is laid out and where you can find everything and upgrade, I never felt like I was ever short on missile tanks. I never felt like the game got too overly difficult. Now that the casual upgrade happened, I definitely would have loved that for the final boss. The final boss is an asshole. He is really hard. The difficulty spike was incredible. It definitely did not feel like a modern day Nintendo type boss. It felt like old school NES. You will die a billion times. Oh, and there's 3 forms.
Yeah, but like I would still rather fight him than those EMMIs all the time.
I really got used to, like, once I would get the big laser weapon for the Emmy, I found it. I defeated the last 2 on the first try because the area is like you can immediately, like, because you killed like 3 of them prior, you now know the trick. It's like just get some distance and then get some distance again, and then you're good.
Right, but that's consistent. Whereas the MMIs are not. The same one will have different like parry times.
Well, yeah, they do that on
time.
purpose, so you can't just. They don't want you to encounter him. They don't want you to fight him until you have the laser weapon.
Which I get, but like then just I don't know, man. They made it to like I always ended up in his face, so like I don't know. I hated those things. Like they were dreadful. But,
yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I said when I first got the game, it did have a great sense of dread from the Emmys. It just got old after a while because they were getting to you too easy, and you could not avoid them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the end. But the final boss, ridiculous. It took me like 2 hours to beat him. I was not satisfied at the end of it. I was more mad. I just went, asshole, I never want to fight you again. You're too hard. His first form is learning the fucking counter parry system, which I hate. And the second form was, he has this like wacky laser that I just, for one reason or another, just had a horrible time avoiding. And it took me like an hour just to get that to that point. And then the third form happened. I never had enough health. And my first encounter with the third form was, because I thought I beat him after 2. And I let my guard down, and it was third form cutscene. And then he just did the whole spear counter maneuver, and he blasted me into a wall and killed me. And I went, fuck, threw the controller down. I'd go for like a walk, grab some water.
Oh, man.
I was so furious. Like, that's bullshit. And that third form, I could not figure out the lunge spear counter, which was so key to beating him. It was just lucky. I had to guess because it seems like he was holding it and wouldn't lunge at the same time each time. So maybe he's the one that programmed the Emmys.
And then he's an asshole.
Yeah, he was an asshole. The ending was kind of weird. You remember the ending, Kevin?
I really don't. I kind of just feel like it like faded out and went to. I was also like getting distracted, like setting up the next game I wanted to play that day. So like I wasn't like Metroid's story doesn't really like enthrall me, if I'm being honest. Like yeah, I'm just kind of playing it for the gameplay. So I don't remember the exact ending, but I remember I was just so happy beating that fucking boss.
Well, Samus gets all these like full Metroid powers, and
Oh yeah, her
the
cool
final
suit.
the final sequence
Yes.
is she's a total reptile type thing that can suck energy through her hand now.
Yeah.
And the weird scientist dude that you encounter one time morphs with some sort of Metroid, the copycat Metroid.
Yeah.
And then some like I thought he died, he didn't die, and then he just pops up in the ship and takes the powers away. And I go, I don't understand that. I guess I'll have to look into some lore about it or what someone has to say online. But I didn't really understand the ending too much.
Well, she's got to lose her powers every game. That's how it goes.
Yeah, right. Or the suit's destroyed or something or another.
Or you have to get, the order from your superiors, as in the Metroid Other M.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do that now.
Yeah. I guess Metroid Dread is still my game of the year last year. I don't remember playing much new games last year.
Yeah, I can't say last year was like a stellar year for new releases. Like even things that came out, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
only one besides Metroid Dread I remember is like that Ace Attorney game.
There was an Ace Attorney game?
Yeah, it was a new one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like takes place in the past.
Huh. I don't remember that actually.
Yeah, it's like 1800s or something.
Oh, that's super weird. I don't know what crimes are in the 1800s. To get away with murder, you just have to pretty much not be in the room. Did you do it? No.
What is that? Blood? Gross. Clean that up.
I love that bit from John Mulaney. The killer's blood is everywhere. Get it out of here. I can't see anything.
I can't see the body properly.
Oh man,
Covered in all that blood. That knife in them? Oh, that's weird. He could have been stabbed to death. Could have been shot. We'll never know.
I wonder what crimes I would be like killer to be like a detective back in those days and be like, well, did anyone see this happen? No. Suicide.
Well, I mean, that's the whole gimmick of Sherlock Holmes and his existence and why those books needed the entire like orphan children of Baker Street to help him out and become his informants, and hopefully they saw something, and a huge network of people that can ask around, and the whole concept was who saw something and putting puzzle pieces together.
Sherlock Holmes used slave labor. Got it.
Well,
Child labor.
orphan. Well, look, those orphans need food too.
Did he feed them though?
I think he gave them coins so they can buy stuff. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. He's an okay guy, I guess.
All right.
What if he was the killer the whole time though?
I went to a soccer game last night.
Oh.
Real Salt Lake defeated the New England Revolution at Gillette Stadium, which, do you know how many people can fit in that fucker?
At least 3.
It's like 68,000 people can fit in the stadium.
Holy shit.
You want to take
right.
a guess how many people were probably there last night?
69,000. Nice.
Like 500 people.
Oh.
Oh no.
Super disappointing.
It was so cheap to get into the game. The weather was, let's call it manly and kind of stupid. So the game began and it's a blizzard. Like I was posting pictures, and when the ball went out of bounds, and they had to do like a small 10-second delay so they could actually shovel the snow out of the goal lines so they could see the box.
Mm-hmm.
And the Real Salt Lake players were in white. So I go, this is unfair. They have camouflage advantage in this game. Yeah. But maybe it's maybe it is a fair advantage because now they can't like see each other.
I thought we were playing soccer in the snow.
Yeah, nothing says soccer like snow, right?
I didn't think snow and soccer were like seasons that were like things that went together. So I don't know, why is this happening?
Dude, the season started like last week, and
They
in New
pushed it
England,
back another week.
yeah. Well, the MLS wanted to be more in tune with like other
Nature.
leagues around the world, and yeah, more in tune with nature. Yeah, the last night was definitely that. So it was a freaking blizzard last night. I'm in my seat, and if I wouldn't move for like 5 minutes, I was just covered in snow, like a total snowman. It was snowing so hard I couldn't like really take my phone out because then it would it would just get covered in snow and I couldn't like the touchscreen wouldn't work anymore because it was wet.
No.
So the second half happened. Everyone leaves all 500 of us leaves our seats.
Yep.
We're all hanging out in like the bathroom because that's the warmest place in the park. And the second half starts, and now it's like 25-mile-an-hour winds. So the guys would kick the ball into the wind, and it would then go backwards. So they couldn't kick it anymore. New England went up 2-0. They scored the first goal in extra time of the first half. The second goal at I think it was like the 68-minute mark. So they're up 2-0. I'm a sad fan because I'm Salt Lake City. I root for teams that are very mid or worse. And I saw the greatest weathered comeback live I've seen in ages. They ended up winning the game 3-2. They scored the equalizer like shortly after. They had 2 subs, and then they did a final sub with like 5 minutes left in the game, and they scored 2 goals, 1 in extra time, and the last goal was like incredible. The guy, I won't say fakes, but he crisscrosses a dude, gets in the box. One guy kind of comes on him, and he does a slick little back pass to a guy at the corner of the box, and the dude just bent it in just beautifully, and then they all did the whole penguin slide through the snow and did snow angels, and the game was over. It was a fantastic ending. I was super happy, but man, it took me like a good hour to finally like get warm after that experience. It was so wild.
I bet.
Yeah. So of course, the weekend I get the PS5. I go to a soccer game last night. I'm going to a wrestling show later this afternoon. Had bowling on Friday night. Not a weekend for gaming, it seems. Sports ball, yay. All right, Colin. I've spent like 40 minutes talking all of my stories. What do you got?
Well, obviously I don't have nearly as much. I mean, a few weeks ago I turned 34.
Hey, congratulations. Happy birthday. We're both 34 now.
Nice. And I wound up celebrating with family. Got myself a nice set of kitchen knives from my folks.
What an adult thing to have.
I celebrated by doing my taxes and paying rent. Ah, yes,
Hell
beautiful
yes.
times.
Bully.
What can I say? I'm on a bit of a cooking kick. I mean, I've challenged myself to make one new dish every week that I've never made before.
This stream sponsored by HelloFresh.
Yeah, I was about to say we need a HelloFresh sponsor because that would be right up your alley. But you're in Canada, Colin, so I don't know if
No,
HelloFresh
we
is
get
there.
it too.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I got the kitchen knives, and then my brother and his wife gave me a Super Mario Bros. Game & Watch.
Ooh.
Just pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, and naturally, my nephews were pretty enthralled by it. So I showed them how to play it, and they
How
took
old are your
turns
nephews?
for a while. 5 and 3.
Okay, this is what I want you to do to the 5-year-old. Do you still have a Game Boy Color or original Game Boy?
My brother has a Game Boy Color, and he's already playing on it.
The 5-year-old?
Yes.
Ah, damn it! I was really hoping for you to give him a Game Boy and not tell him how to like operate it and see what he does.
Touchscreen it.
Yeah, like touch screen is like it's not turning on.
He already knows the difference. He's been playing. He's been playing Metroid 2 and Donkey Kong Land 3 and I think Excite Bike.
Oh, training the kid well early. Love it.
That's my brother, not me.
Well, congratulations to him. I don't need to compliment you. I'll compliment your brother.
I'm all about you, Colin. Damn.
Yeah, but kid also plays Minecraft
Good.
on tablet. So
Good for him.
it's pretty well versed.
Yeah, popular game.
Why don't you? It sold a copy or two.
Yeah, right?
And as for the games I've been playing, well, I haven't really done much besides work these past 4 weeks, but I've been playing some games. I finished Os Tatakai Oendan, which for the audience's sake is the predecessor to Elite Beat Agents.
Okay.
Okay. I spoke American. Now I know.
Yeah, let me tell you that game really makes you work for the victory in the last stage, because you have to spin a whole bunch of pinwheels all in a row, and it made me literally break a sweat. And then from there, I've been playing Oendan 2, and it's basically the first game, but with improved graphics and visuals, and the characters are more animated in every sense of the word.
Did you bring this game up before in the past that you were getting it, or?
Yeah, I got it along with the first Oendan when I went to Japan.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I just hadn't gotten around to playing it until our recent Rhythm Game cast.
Yeah, I had a feeling you had brought this game up before. I was like, I swear I've heard this from you.
Yeah. And aside from my only real complaint about the sequel is that most of the scenarios are pretty unmemorable, at least compared to the first game in EBA, but I'm still going to play the rest of it. There are some bonus stages this time around, so I got to rack up those points. And I've also been playing Danganronpa V3.
Oh, yeah. I was working my way through Danganronpa 2, but that game has been pushed aside a long time ago.
I bet.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just watch the Game Grumps playthrough and that'll suffice.
Yeah, you do you.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interactive little story game, so play it or not, whatever. I gotta make tough choices here. What games I'm playing? I got 6 PS5 games to go through.
All 6 PS5 games. That's right.
There's more than that. Colin and Kevin, you fools.
Nice save.
I can sense your I can sense your despicable natures behind my new purchase.
It's okay. 2 out of 10.
What would be your Dave Meltzer star rating?
I just want one, man. That's all.
Well, first experience is a good one. It is a massive thing. It is huge. And when you turn it on, it sounds like a jet engine. Which is actually kind of cool, because my cat looks up every time. He goes, "What the fuck is that?"
Is that good or bad? I'm not really sure.
I don't know. It does calm down after you boot it up. It does come with a wacky little disc stand.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, and the way it's designed, you need this little stand for it to be horizontal. Which is like the opposite of what stands usually are, where you want them to be vertical and you need this little stand for stability, and hopefully nothing bumps into it and it falls. But it's more functional for the horizontal thing. I have mine horizontal. I wanted to. I envisioned it in this spot, and it fits perfectly there. And it's you've seen my entertainment center, Colin.
Yeah. Although, didn't you move it to the bedroom?
No. I moved the couch in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
And I gave myself more space in the living room. A lot more stuff like that. I basically got my workout equipment in the living room now.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes up the entire top console. It is slightly bigger than the original Xbox. Lengthwise, not height-wise.
Oh, man. That is big.
Yeah, it's huge. It is lighter, so it's made out of not as dense materials from 2000. And yeah, it's white, so it matches my Dreamcast. Anyways, I interrupted you. That's the visual aspect of the PS5.
Yeah, been playing Danganronpa V3 and liking it so far, even though I've only played like maybe an hour and nothing particularly of note has happened. I mean, it's like the other two games. It's hard to know where in the timeline it takes place, but Danganronpa 2 is the same way, so it's not a bad thing. I mean, that's one thing that I think I and every other fan of the series likes, is that keeps you guessing the whole way. It's very good at throwing you off.
Yeah, it's pretty good at, I guess, making you question where the story's heading. Like, you get it gives you an idea, and then it twists it at each and every turn to keep you interested in what's going on. Yeah, the at least what I've experienced with the second one and the first one did a good job at that.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I really like about that this improved upon the previous two games is that during non-trial conversations, you can actually see the player character's expressions. Kind of added a lot
that's
to
a big
it.
upgrade.
Yeah. Would definitely have improved the previous games. But that's pretty much all I've been playing. Aside from podcast games, of course.
Yes, of course. That I totally beat the both. Yes, of course. I was not distracted by other games. Kevin,
Hello.
what you been up to?
Well, I don't know if you've heard of this little indie game called Fortnite. I've been playing a little bit of that lately.
Yeah. I've seen it on
Yeah,
your
it doesn't
ring a bell.
on your goofy little YouTube channel that you update Twitch stuff.
Love it. I got these cool characters, original characters named Aloy. Super cool. Nathan Drake from Fortnite. Love it. Even this Master Chef guy. Honestly, I just love watching people cry when crossover characters come in. Like, it's my favorite thing in the world, because a crossover is almost never bad.
Why do people get upset over goofy little characters in a game like Fortnite?
You get Kratos in there and he's doing like some dumb emote, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, look how they ruined Kratos!" And I'm like, if you take games as seriously, you need some like people genuinely get upset. Like when Ryu and Chun-Li got in the game, like people are like, "This is the worst thing to happen to Street Fighter." I'm like, "Oh, 5 exists, but that's fine." Sure, I guess. Doing a little bit of that today, actually. I am also working on Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Because Konami put out, they put out that advanced collection. I had a little bit of a snafu with it, and I thought it was Konami at first.
Wait, you say advanced collection, like the actual Game Boy Advance games?
Yeah, did you not know they got re-released?
I thought it was like all of the NES and like TurboGrafx Castlevania games.
No, that's the normal Castlevania collection. There's also an advanced collection that they put out.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's got the 3 GBA games on there.
Oh. Because 2 of them are like super expensive too.
Yes. We'll have a talk about that later. So the Xbox has this weird little thing, and it's not really them exclusive. This happened on my PS4 a lot, but not to this level. I hate rest modes. I hate like all standby modes because they just fuck things up. And I think what happened is this little quick resume thing the Xbox does, like, the system like gets confused with games, and when I installed this game, like, it must not have done it properly. So the first time I was playing the Advanced Collection, it didn't save, and I thought it was me. I was like, oh, I must have not saved something properly, whatever, it messed up. And then I streamed 3 hours of Circle of the Moon, and it didn't save again. The save states in the thing didn't work, and like just no progress saved.
Oh.
So I reinstalled it, and I didn't even realize achievements weren't popping when I was doing stuff. So
it was some wacky glitch that it had.
Right. And I've taken it off quick resume, and it seems to be working fine now. I'm back where I was. It's a fun Castlevania game. I love the Metroidvania genre. It's the best. So I had no problem going back and redoing what I did. I put like 3.5 hours in that game, and I was like, sure, I'll do it again. Fuck it. Very, very fun game. I love it. I just have to get back to it because everyone keeps wanting to play Fortnite with me, and I'm just like, but I got things to do. So there's that. I have these written down. Hold on. Circle them. I'm also working through Gears of War with my friends. But we'll get to that when we get to that because everyone's an adult and life is hard. Speaking of quick resume problems, I don't know if you've heard. I might have complained about it once or twice on Twitter. My Halo Infinite save got borked.
Oh, no.
I also think it's a quick resume thing. I was right at the end of that game, which is really upsetting. And I want to go back through it, but like, Halo Infinite gets no benefit from being an open world, like at all. I don't think it does anything for that game. Like,
yeah, you aren't the only one that thinks that.
Yeah, it just is, and like, the multiplayer is fun, but like, there's like 4 maps. And it's very, very repetitive. So, like, I think I tried picking it up again and doing, like, a mission here and there. But I think I'm going to wait till, like, whatever co-op comes out for it. Because, like, I just don't want to do it again.
So you brought it up. So that's the big thing. I've seen a trend with the latest Halo Infinite news release that because they're now further delaying story co-op mode and co-op gameplay, and there's still issues with a lot of the multiplayer in what maps you have. And is there a Forge mode yet that a lot of people loved?
No.
So yeah, everything's on delay further. And with this news, I've seen a lot of people now retract their original reviews of Halo Infinite from like their 8 out of 10 because the gameplay is still super tight and good. And and a lot of people like the story. The more common kind of critique over the story was they were kind of disappointed that the end of 5 was just kind of punted.
Yeah, I mean, look, Halo's story has never been the thing that I've played the game for. It's generic war to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's fine, but
yeah, now people are like retracting and giving it like 6s out of 10s because the whole appeal, at least from my perspective of Halo, as not the biggest Halo fan, is the multiplayer and the co-op and playing with your friends. Like, that's the appeal of Halo. You go through the story, and now with this open world, it's clearly not designed for this wacky multiplayer co-op gameplay, and it's just supposed to be filled with microtransactions and the aspects of modern gaming that we all hate with the live service, where games aren't coming out completely filled and we promise to do it later, that whole aspect. And I watched a whole video on the progression of the like store in Halo Infinite, where
the only cool thing in the store is the cat ears. I did buy those.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck.
And this guy was going through the original press releases before release, how, you can earn all these things in the game. And this guy pointed to users had to get to like level 75 or higher before they had enough like true points to buy anything. But all the cool ones are in microtransactions, because of course they are. And all these press releases are saying you wouldn't have to do that. So much like in Street Fighter V when that came out, it's a big fat lie. Like, you can't. The amount of hours you would have to put in to earn anything is astronomically asking too much of the player. And the most damning aspect of the store is they've been testing out how much they can charge for people for a lot of these things. So
yes, and I have issues with it, and I also find there's one good thing about it, and I think it's a big good thing. So, like, remember back in the day, if you played Call of Duty or anything, you would have to buy map packs for more maps?
Yeah.
So, I would rather have microtransactions that fund map packs for everybody to get maps for free versus buying map packs. Because I'd buy a Call of Duty map pack, and then almost nobody else would. So I'd be playing the same base maps all the time. So, like, if I have to choose between the two evils, I'd rather have microtransactions.
Well,
'cause they're optional.
Here's the big detractor and negative to that is there's no guarantee the player base will wait around for that to happen.
Right.
And there's no guarantee it'll even come out, in which we've seen a lot of games. I mean, Babylon. You look at Babylon's Fall. That game was dead on arrival.
Didn't even know that game came out, honestly, until I heard about
God, it's hilarious. So Babylon's Fall. Remember when I think it was Marvel Infinite came out and it was considered a commercial failure because players at launch was only like 30,000 or something?
Marvel what now?
I think it was Infinite?
No, just Marvel's Avengers.
Okay, whatever the title was. There was only like 30,000 players played it on release, and it was considered a commercial failure, but belly flopped, and the player base has depleted immediately.
Right.
Babylon's Fall came out broken, story's boring, the gameplay's boring, and the grinding's boring, and it came out with like 500 players playing it online. It's already dead.
So yeah,
an atrocity.
I when Halo Infinite came out, I was having to go back. I was working for a real shit contractor. I hated it every day, and I remember they said,
I remember those
Halo,
days.
Yeah, Halo Infinite is out today, the multiplayer at least, and I said, oh fuck, I can't wait to go home because this is going to make everything better. And I went home and it had quick play. And I was like, okay, I just want to get into Slayer because I just want to see how it feels. And the game was like, great. How about quick play? And I was like,
yeah,
okay,
you only get your one mode.
Right. And I have a friend with peace and love. He's almost a developer apologist because he went to school for game design.
Okay.
So like nothing's ever the developer's fault. I'm like, you're still allowed to criticize things. Like I get making a game is not hard, like or not easy, but like doesn't mean like just because I can't do something doesn't mean you're not allowed to criticize it. Like I can go watch a movie. I don't know shit about filmmaking.
Well,
like,
I mean, I will always make this argument, and it works for all industries, whether it's anime, wrestling, video games, all related to Red Leaf Retrocast. Yeah. You are the consumer. We are spending our money for your product that you're promising us. And just because you had issues or you had problems and the consumer doesn't like it, that's your fucking fault.
Right. So like, I'm not going to forgive them. So eventually I just started playing and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not playing Halo Infinite until like the modes I want are here. Like some days I feel like doing objectives. Some days I feel like doing just team deathmatch and shutting my brain off. And until that's there, I was like, I'm not going to play this multiplayer. So I did. And then like, I was like, okay, there's probably going to be new maps coming soon. Right.
Well, and this game was delayed a year, which is
there's going to be new maps soon. Right.
Yeah. And that's what makes this much more of a bigger issue than than they realize. Because the more time goes on, the more the player base leaves. I mean, just look at Battlefield. I think it's 5. That's a dead game now, and they had this 7 to 10 year plan, which all these games have, and the only one that seems to be like surviving off of this model is Destiny.
I mean, it's just I don't think Microsoft knows what they want to do with Halo, and they really have high hopes, but I think they had this arbitrary anniversary set in their mind. Like, we got to get it out for Halo's 20th anniversary without, like...
Yeah,
man, listen, if it falls coincidentally, it falls coincidentally. But, like, don't fucking make this... Because now I'm at this point where I was almost done with Halo Infinite. Whatever glitch on their end or my end borked my save. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait till co-op's coming out. Now co-op's delayed. So
I mean, you can call it whatever you want. If it's the 20th anniversary and it came out in year 22, it's your 20th anniversary game.
Yeah, just like... Yeah. Now I gotta wait to play co-op if you ever get it. We're never getting split screen. I've just accepted that at this point.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So like, I don't like. I have a whole bad taste in my mouth because I like the gameplay of Halo. I still think the story is super overrated. But like, I love the gameplay. It's just like there's not enough there. And did I spend any money on it? No, I got it on Game Pass. And like,
yeah, that's a wild thing. I wonder how much money they made because it's on Game Pass, and did it meet expectations? And I think yeah. My indication and feel for it, because it's so hard to look up data for these things unless you're in the industry. the feel I'm getting for it is it's not doing well as much as they want.
I don't know if it is or it's not. I feel like it came in hot and it just died off. I
Well,
see,
that's because the state of the game it came out.
Right. I see what's it called? Like Game Pass haters, to call them anything better. They're like, "Oh, this is bad for developers." Look, if it was bad for developers, Game Pass wouldn't be still a thing by this point. And more games wouldn't be coming to it.
Right. They're clearly
Something's working.
they're clearly getting a good chunk of change to put their games on these services.
Right.
They got to be, otherwise it wouldn't be feasible, and
it would be dumb.
that's why when you look up PlayStation Now or the monthly subservice of PlayStation Plus, you're getting these AAA games on there for free at times and part of that service. And PlayStation Now's it's slowly but surely coming along to match Game Pass in its own way. You can download some games, some are still streaming. They're still behind. They're still behind in that aspect. And now Nintendo Switch is also doing some streaming stuff. I think Kingdom Hearts you can only stream it.
Yeah, you sure.
And you have to buy it.
Badly.
And you have to buy it.
Listen, if you spend money on a streamable only game, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm just going to say that point blank. If you've bought a Stadia game, you're a fucking idiot with your money.
Yeah, Stadia's
I was just
dead.
gonna say.
What a shock.
No, I have, like, I mentioned the word Stadia on Twitter, and I have, like, all these dudes who have usernames like Stadia fucker 69, like, coming up and be like, yeah, well, tell me why Stadia is bad. And, like, I take the bait because I'm an idiot. And I'm just like, why are you going to spend money for something you can never, ever keep? Like, well, what is forever, you know? Like, you're paying for experience. I'm like, dude, just get Google's dick out of your mouth, okay?
The defenders of a bad product are amazing. They're an amazing breed.
I mean, you're never going to... There's always somebody who loves something.
Well, me and
Whatever,
my friend like it. Okay, that's two people, or that's your group, that's your circle. The larger aspect is Stadia is dead because it sucks. That's a fact. If it wasn't, if it didn't suck or it wasn't successful, it wouldn't be ending right now.
So, long story short, I love Halo Infinite as a gameplay thing, but like, man, I don't want to go back and replay the campaign right now.
Yeah.
Like, I've tried, but like, that game does not need to be an open world. It really does. And I have a problem with a lot of games coming out. Like, not every game needs to be a fucking open world because you can. Like, so many of them are just like unnecessary means to get from a mission to a mission.
Oh, dude, that's been a thing since Grand Theft Auto 3.
But they did it well. There was other stuff to do in that world. The other stuff to do in Halo is get distracted slightly to kill more grunts. I don't fucking care. Like, it doesn't need to be an open world.
I mean, I liked the way Gears of War 5? 5? Was it 5?
I haven't gotten to 5 yet. Is that an open world too?
So sort of. It has like an open hub type world where you traverse on this like wacky Iditarod device.
I don't know if I want that. Like,
no. Trust me, I'm not the biggest Xbox guy in the world. I'm probably like last place for people, but I enjoyed Gears of War 5. I enjoyed its different aspect of how they went about the world. It's fine. Trust me.
Well, whatever happens. I'll get to Halo Infinite's actual finish one day, but I got so close to the end, I looked up the ending and I went, wow, my life did not change from knowing any of this information.
Oh, you spoiled yourself. You fool.
Well, what am I going to do? I was right at the end of the game. I'm not going to replay. Like, at the point, I was so mad.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's when it nerfed you?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
shit.
thing is, like, it's in the most annoying
I would have looked up the ending too.
It's at the most annoying way where, like, when I went to load the game, like, essentially it would be like, okay, I'm loading the game. I promise.
The closest I've ever gotten to that kind of experience was I was on the final boss in Shadow of the Colossus, and I was playing that game when I was visiting my brother in college when he was in Arkansas.
Right.
And his friend tripped the power, like doing some wacky mechanical engineering thing. And so it shut off the whole power, and I lost it. And you know, Shadow of the Colossus, when you die, you go back.
Yeah. So I just let it go, and you know what? I don't want to touch Halo Infinite anymore. I'm playing a little mobile game called Tesla versus Lovecraft too.
Yeah, we don't care about that. We don't care.
I do because I have this thing where like,
well, I do.
Well, yeah, fuck you. Playing games on the go is hard. That's why. But like, I don't know. I tried playing Game Pass cloud stuff, and it works really cool until like you realize, it's on the cloud, and they have not made the text any bigger for your phone screen to read.
Jeez.
Yeah, which is actually another issue with when I was playing Halo Infinite on cloud. I'm like, I can't see anything. That sucks. But it is definitely, it's fun. It's a twin stick shooter. Google Play Pass actually isn't that bad. I'm gonna be straight up with everybody. You don't want to spend money on mobile games, but like $30 a year, that's not bad for no ads, no in-app purchases. It's pretty good.
Oh, I see. I guess there's some appeal to that.
I mean, there's some console games on there that have their mobile version that you can use a controller, which I know that scares people. It's okay. The one thing I will say is they need to figure out a way to notify you what games actually support a controller, because they don't in any way.
That's a bummer.
You have to look at the description of every game, and if you were to do something normal, I don't know, search controller compatible games, it doesn't help. But there's some good stuff on there. It's a good twin stick shooter. Symphony of the Night's on mobile, so there you go. That's all you need.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, and that's what I've been playing.
All right. So PlayStation had a state of play. This is our last thing before we finally get into our topic. Lots to talk about.
This is the only thing that's worth mentioning.
So I've pulled up IGN's little recap here, but Colin and Kevin, did you watch the state of play?
Fuck no, I never watch these things.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I got anything else to do.
But Kevin, you have an announcement over what was there.
Yes, I am the first person you'll hear this from.
Okay.
Nobody else has announced this, so you're welcome.
All right.
But this is going to get you. Yes, it is exclusive, not from Sony themselves. There is one thing that was announced that was a collection of games.
Okay.
And it is called the TMNT Cowabunga Collection.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection. Okay.
So if you play retro games at all, you know that the price of certain games, let's pick one from this list, Turtles in Time.
Sure, yeah, very expensive.
Yeah.
Unless you repro it.
Right. Well, why would you do that when you can get the official release so you can tell these game companies that we want these games to be preserved? This collection comes with TMNT Arcade, the real one.
Oh.
Turtles in Time Arcade.
Okay.
The first NES Ninja Turtles game. Sure. The second Ninja Turtles game. Listen, the arcade in quotes port for the NES sucks, and I'll stand by that forever.
That's fine.
The hit detection sucks. But you get Turtles 3, Manhattan Project. You get Tournament Fighters on NES. Sure. You get Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo. You get Tournament Fighters on Super Nintendo. Hyperstone Heist.
Oh, I like that one.
Tournament Fighters on Genesis. And then all 3 of the Game Boy games. So you get, 14 games? And they're regional variants for $40. And some people immediately were like, $40, that's a lot for a bunch of old fucking games. And my buddy put up a screenshot of the price of Hyperstone Heist on Price Charting, which is at $80, and he goes, I think I proved your fucking point wrong. It's coming to everything, and this is the only thing I give a shit about. I thought this was going to be a PlayStation exclusives, and a hot take is exclusives are good. I don't want every game on every console because there's no difference of what box does what. So I thought
so I believe we were opposite at one time, but I've always been a proponent for console exclusives because that's the whole reason why you're getting the thing.
Right. So maybe opinions can change over time.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm glad you've come to my side on this.
Well, sides, whatever. It's not a war. But
what? Boo! No war! Xbox sucks! Yay! PlayStation!
There's a meme going around my channel that I'm a giant Xbox mark, and I was like, yes. Oh, and I only play first-person shooters. And I was like, yes, I'm playing on my Xbox GameCube right here, playing my favorite first-person shooter, Fire Emblem. Very good.
No, what are you talking about? What's that Wii game?
What Wii game?
What's that Wii first-person shooter game?
The Wii first-person.
Conduit. Conduit. Yes, that's the best one. What are you talking about?
Love that game.
Isn't it the Conduit? Isn't it the Conduit?
The Conduit. The Conduit 2 is not great.
It could never live up to the greatness of the Conduit.
It's true. So this is coming to everything, and there was a rumor going around that PlayStation like bought a Konami IP.
I
and then
heard
this
that too.
announcement happened, and I was like, "Yo, if they fucking bought the Konami Turtles games, that's a big get." Apparently, they didn't. So
I kind of want them
these
to
games-
just straight up buy Konami.
yeah, some of these games have online. I don't remember which ones do, but if the arcade beat 'em ups do, that's good. I want that in my life. So yeah, that's the only thing from State of Play I gave a shit about.
Yeah, I have
I'm
repro
probably
cards
one.
of Turtles in Time and Hyperstone Heist.
Well, stop it. Buy the official release so you can tell these developers you want these things.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's
So
see. I'm looking through the IGN other releases. I was aware of the Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. This looks fucking great. It looks like it has the same type of gameplay as Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which I'm for. I like that. I like that style of gameplay for Final Fantasy games in the modern era, and it's a big homage to all the Final Fantasy games in the past. We're going through this open world, and all of the big open world areas are areas from past games.
Mm-hmm.
And people were posting like screenshots, comparisons to like what the castle from Final Fantasy VI looks like, and that's what this looks like in the modern era, and just cool things like that. This game looks rad as fuck. It comes out on March 15th. Are you kidding me?
Oh.
It's just, boom, here it is. It's from the people that made Neo, so hopefully it's not hard as shit.
Yeah, probably will be.
Yeah. I did not get far in Neo 2. That game is... I didn't get far in the first one either, but Neo 2 is even harder. But God, I love those games. I really wish they had difficulty sliders. That's an opinion I'm changed on, Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah, I have
No, I'm not
completely
doing
changed.
this.
I need difficulty sliders in these games. I need them.
Yeah, you're an adult now. I got into it with somebody on Twitter about how pausing in Elden Ring is for fucking casuals. I'm like, how is being able to pause even?
I gotta go piss. Like, why is that bad?
No, it's for. And I'm friends with the kids. I want to be nice. It's possible to disagree with people and be friends. But he's like, no, not pausing the games is like one of those things about people love about the game. Like, I guess you just never shit in your life ever. Like, how does that make a game
or
less
someone
difficult?
answered your door, or someone rang your doorbell and you got to go answer it? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It must be nice to not have responsibilities or a bladder. I don't know, dude. Whatever.
yeah, just hook up the little IV so you don't have to eat.
Hold your dick hole too. You don't want to pee either, just in case.
Right.
Sounds like
let's
you're
see here.
being argued against by people who never stopped wearing diapers.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't understand how it pauses, but like those games need accessibility features. I'll stand by that. It's one of the many things I don't like about Souls games. But all people hear is get good whenever I criticize them.
yeah. That's just immediate for
Which is
I'm ignoring
another
you.
reason I hate them with a passion. I hate the people around them.
Yeah. Supposedly there's like a Dino Crisis type game coming out from Capcom.
No, there isn't. It is a Earth Defense Force like game, but instead of aliens, it is dinosaurs.
Okay, so skip over that. I still don't know what to make
yeah.
of Ghostwire Tokyo. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. I don't know. It comes out on March 25th. Keep an eye on that. Horror open world. So we'll see.
Oh, good. Another open world game. Great.
Yeah, right. Forsaken,
good.
I believe, was delayed till October. So people will be disappointed with that. Gundam game. Kaiju Brawler. JoJo Bizarre Adventure Brawler.
And Giga Bash looks really good.
Some black and white samurai adventure, which looks pretty wild. Keep an eye on that. Remember, I was a big fan of the black and white feature in Ghost of Tsushima.
Just play Mad World.
Well, that game's expensive, actually.
Is it really? I bought it
think
for
so.
$4.
Hold on. I believe it went up in price like a lot.
I wouldn't be
Over the
shocked.
last few
because
years. Let me
now
see.
people care about the Wii for some reason.
Let me see. Well, the Wii
I'm
is
thinking about
retro,
getting
bro.
I'm thinking about getting rid of most of my Wii stuff except like Fire Emblem.
Mad
Just because I don't want to play it.
World. Let's see.
I got so much more I need to play.
Okay, I'm mistaken. It goes for $10.
Hmm.
I might be thinking of No More Heroes instead.
Yes, you might be.
Okay. Returnal's getting a co-op campaign, which is pretty cool. I'll get that eventually. That and Kenna Bridge of Spirits. When I go through my list of PlayStation 5 games that I have and I'm very proud of. By the way, my favorite part was keeping the plastic on all these games. and ripping them apart one by one. Yes, it's like Christmas for me all over again. Valkyrie Elysium was announced, so we'll see what happens with the Valkyrie games. I know, Kevin, you played a lot of the Valkyrie games, right?
No.
What am I thinking of then?
I don't know. Probably some other guy who's handsome.
What's the anime?
You think of Valkyria Chronicles?
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck those games. Nope. I gave 2 of those games a shot. I'm over them. They have a big RNG problem, and they just play Fire Emblem. There you go.
Well, this is like a sequel to Valkyrie Profile or something wild.
It's like apparently it's an action RPG, and whoever wrote the Kotaku article we were reading on our podcast was very pissy the whole time, and I remember why I put ad block on one of his. I don't know. Kotaku sucks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I can give him ad block.
Colin, have you played Valkyrie Profile?
I have not.
Okay. So I've played the PS1 game. I don't have Valkyrie Profile 2. I think that came out on PSP. Anyways.
Yes, it did. It did purple cover or something. I remember it now.
Yeah, I think it's expensive too.
Eh.
What's your prediction on Valkyrie Profile prices?
It's PSP RPG 30 to 40.
Colin, what's your guess?
It's hard to tell with PSP games, but I'll just say 80 for shits and giggles.
Okay, so the original Valkyrie Profile on PS1. Oh, that's what I have. I have Valkyrie Profile Lennox, which is the remake on PSP. That's $30.
The open source one, yes.
Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria looks like it only came out on PS2. That's going for $25.
Oh.
The original Valkyrie Profile on PS1 goes for $200.
Whatever. So you stop buying a cup of coffee every day, you stupid millennials. You'll get it eventually.
You'll get there in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who needs daily fun and
If you stop buying so much avocado toast, you can get a copy of Valkyrie Profile.
It's fat. That kind of reminds me. Maybe I mentioned this before, but in one game I played, they made fun of that whole stereotype by having an item that buffs up everything max except it drains your luck at finding money.
Oh, that's funny. If you get avocado toast in a game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Although it's called guacamole toast.
Well, you don't want to copyright infringe, I guess. What?
What?
I don't know.
Maybe they're trying to differentiate it just enough for it to be funny.
Yes.
I suppose.
I think it was in Crosscode. That's where I saw it.
Ah. Okay. I'm trying to check which ones I actually have now. I have a spreadsheet of all my games. Because I'm weird. I have Vagrant Story on the PS1, not Valkyrie Profile. And I don't have Valkyrie Profile on PSP. I don't have any of these games. That means I haven't played them. Most likely, I am mistaken. I'm mixing up my V games. Oh no!
Yeah. Breaking news, by the way: Scott Hall's on life support apparently.
After he broke his hip and fell.
Yeah, he had 3 heart attacks after his surgery.
Oh,
holy
fuck!
shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a lot of drinking and drugs will do, and steroids.
Yeah, he'll do that. So
he hasn't led an easy life. Put it that way.
Yeah, no, he's not. But
Well,
anyway,
fingers crossed.
love you, Scott Hall.
Okay, let's get into our main topic. A very fun, lengthy episode. We haven't done one of these in a long time. Kevin,
Very girthy.
you seem to be the guy that brings this on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I like it. I'm going to play the Earthworm Jim music, and that'll take us into our games. Colin, bring us in. Topic, why you chose it, and our first game.
Topic is It's All in the Mind, where you play as characters who have psychic powers to some degree, whether it's using telekinesis to move things around with your mind, or telepathy to dive into someone else's mind. And I picked it because I had two games that were side by side on my shelf who were within the same genre, and both of which I'd been meaning to play for a long time, so I figured, why not? And the first game on our list is Psi-Ops, the Mindgate Conspiracy, for PS2, Xbox, and PC. Developed and published by Midway, released on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC in North America on June 14th, 2004, and in the PAL regions on October 1st, 2004. Now, funny story, the copy of Psyops I had for my PS2 that was sitting on my shelf for literal years on end would not play in my PS2.
Oh, really?
Yep, I just kept getting a "This could not be read" message.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was disc rot or something. That's very possible. Or the laser got weak. It's always one of the two.
I don't know. I'm told by a bunch of retro people that disc rot's not even real if you keep your games nice. So, guess we all just made it up.
Oh, yes, of course. When a game
all-
looks pristine condition,
Yeah, we all
and
just made
and
it
it
up,
doesn't
guys.
work. Yeah, okay.
Think my PS2 plays other games just fine.
Yeah, it must be because you don't take care of your games, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, not old age or anything, like natural.
No. No, never.
But fortunately,
I'm going to Google that
It
right
seems-
now. Is disc rot real? Is there a real answer?
I'm listening to you, Colin.
Well, in any case, fortunately for me, the game seems to have been classified as abandonware, so I was able to download a free PC copy.
Fuck, wait, really?
Yeah, didn't even need a torrent.
God, where?
Let me see. I can't remember the site.
Oh man, because this is I don't want to. I'll talk about it on my end, but fuck, man, I wish I knew that. Okay.
Let's see. I think it's majorgeeks.com. I'll post the link.
Yeah, please do. I'm upset.
Oh wait.
now.
Let me
Without
think.
because all right, well, while you do that, I just got to fill you in why that's important. So I was asking, when JD was asking me to be on the episode, I was saying how I couldn't find this game on anything, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, nobody has it on a digital front. So okay, I guess I'll have to go get a copy. And playing this game on original hardware is fucking dark. I couldn't see anything. I didn't get very far because I couldn't see what I was doing. Hitman has this problem too, and I was and that was on PS2. So it's I'm gonna get it on an Xbox maybe because I know the Xbox is more powerful. And I literally had to turn off every light in my room to see what I was doing.
Oh shit!
I cranked the brightness up on my TV. I'm this is fucking terrible. I don't understand why this generation of games was just pitch blackness. So I didn't get very far. I don't have much to say other than I see the potential in this game, but I couldn't fucking play it. It could be the TV I'm using. I don't know, but I couldn't see anything.
I didn't have that much problem.
Okay, well,
it is a darker game. Yes, I do agree with that. Not to the point where you can't see anything.
No, I made it all up. Never mind.
Well, I think it's your
All
TV.
right,
What
I
TV
post
are
the
you playing
link.
on?
Insignia 32-inch.
Maybe you have TV screen rot.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, so to divulge a little bit, this is why another reason I support these retro re-releases, because it's little things that you're playing on a modern system, which is made for modern TVs, and they thought about these things. So anytime there's a retro re-release, I try to get that for all of those reasons. Even if I have the game already, at this point now, which I know, money's different for everybody. If I can, I try to get the newest release, unless it's Silent Hill Collection, because that
that one's disappointing. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I posted the link in podcast focused content.
Thank you.
Okay.
Not piracy.
I don't think it is.
Abandonware, Windows. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the version I played.
This place. This is how I got like No One Lives Forever and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
neat.
It's got a bunch of stuff. I don't think it's legal. Regardless.
So, audience, shh.
Shush.
Yes, we would never pirate.
But yeah, Psi-Ops. Fair warning, I'm probably going to be making a lot of comparisons to Control during this discussion. I'm sure you understand, JD.
I absolutely understand. I believe I made the exact same comparison to when Control came out.
I agree.
Yeah.
Both have terrible maps.
Well, yes.
We'll get to that. But yeah, the plot is as follows. A military agent named Nick Scryer, after having his mind wiped by his employers, is sent to infiltrate... Yeah, it sounds really trustworthy, doesn't it?
I don't know. I find that so funny. My name is Nick Scryer. My mind has been wiped by the company I work for. It's like, man, it sounds like me on Tuesday. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, he's sent to infiltrate a terrorist organization called The Movement. And along the way, he reacquires his various psychic abilities to better combat the enemy as his memories slowly come back.
Is this a Metroid game?
Well, it doesn't take place in one environment, so no.
Fair.
Yeah, it's a pretty... It plays as a third-person shooter, but you have various psychic abilities like telekinesis, which you can use to throw around crates or boxes or even enemy soldiers. You can, like, lift them up in the air and shoot them, or throw them off balconies, which is always fun. And you can also use, like, Mind Drain, where you sneak up on enemies and then suck psychic energy out of their bodies until their heads literally explode.
Yes, love that. Great thing. The use of the psychic abilities in this game was so fun to use and done so well in just simplistic ways. My favorite was the mind control and just having dudes like walk off scaffolding.
Yeah. Yeah, I played far enough to get that one too, and it's a very handy ability.
Yeah, that was drained into my mind. Yeah, great.
Oh, because psychic, I get it.
Ha! Thank you.
Comedy.
Thank you, Kevin. Comedy. Yeah, this game, just to interrupt you for a second there, Colin, this game is engraved into my mind. I've played it many times when it first came out in 2004. I got it on release. I was way into it through my PlayStation Magazine. I did, and that was at the time when I had to, like, when I say like I got it on release, it was like 3 months later, or whatever. But that was the time when you would get magazines, or at least I would, and it had reviews, and this got great reviews at the time, and that was kind of the last straw where it's like, okay, I've saved my money, I'm gonna get it, and I played it like annually for like 3 or 4 years straight, especially when I moved to Germany, and the very next year I played through it at least twice just when I was living over there in 2005. So this game, between this and the various Prince of Persias that came out at the time, I played the shit out of those. And this one, we'll get to the ending, I guess, in a second. But boy, oh boy, it's on a list. Let's put it that way. Continue, Colin.
But yeah, like you said, JD, the psychic abilities are used really well. Like at one point, there's a sort of a puzzle where you have to get past a motion-activated machine gun turret by distracting it by making a crate float so that it'll start shooting that instead of you while you strafe past. That was a really cool section. And yeah, sometimes with mind control, you need to actually take control of a soldier while standing on a crate that's on a crane, and then get the soldier to activate the crane to move it up to a previously inaccessible area. I really like what they did there. And there's one thing that bugs me about this game. It's when it forces you to stealth your way through. because I feel like a game like this should have the option to be purely run and gun plus hurling objects and enemies. I mean, that's what Control did, and I really liked that one. And luckily with the tutorial sections, you can skip them whenever you want.
Yeah, that was nice, especially on replay.
Yeah.
Was this the first game or one of the first to have ragdoll physics?
Probably.
That would probably be Max Payne.
Didn't Max Payne come after this, though?
I'm not an archaeologist. I don't know.
All right, time to look it up.
But like I know a couple games had ragdoll physics way before this. I can't, lock one down, but
no, Max Payne was 2001. Okay.
Well,
yeah, that's what I thought.
I wonder if it was made by the same like physics engine or studio, which is looking it up. Havoc 2.0. I wonder if I wonder if Max Payne was on the same dealio. Whatever. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, like you guys said, the map is really shitty in this one.
You're better off just exploring and wandering around. Don't even bother.
Yeah, really. But with the environments looking so samey, it can be hard not to get lost. I mean, it's not the worst I've seen in a game, but it's still enough to be a bit boring.
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest negative of the game, for sure. I would agree. The seamless ability for the game to go between just regular guns and the psychic abilities. And Control didn't do this as well because I can't say as well because the gunplay in Control was very unique enough to where you wanted to switch between the two. What Psyops did was it limited your ammo in a specific way where it had you trying to figure out when was the opportune time to utilize your psychic abilities and utilize the guns accordingly, which I really, really liked. I thought it balanced it extremely well. It's like, I'm out of shotgun ammo, but if I and then if there's like a stronger enemy down the line and I'm in or out or between various psychic the psychic bar amount, then I could do mind drain on a normal enemy, kind of save him, or shoot him and then you use the psychic ability with various crates. But if you don't have access to environmentals, then the game's pretty much kind of it's telling you, hey, use your gun for this moment. And you can't really do that in modern games like Control because everything's interactable and the guns have a much more generous amount of ammunition. And there was a video I watched on this game over a couple of various YouTubers were kind of discussing the same aspect where during this era of video games, this kind of early to mid 2000s, and I really went into it deeper with the next game we're talking about, but what it came down to was, and we mentioned it briefly with how expensive games are today and how much they are to make and the expectation behind them. In the early to mid 2000s, the technology wasn't advanced enough where there was still limitations on the game, so the budgets were still relatively low. So that allowed a lot of game companies like Midway here to take a chance on getting away from just straight up like Medal of Honor type or Black, which came out later, just straight up military gameplay, and adding aspects like the psychic abilities here. And that led to a lot of games like this where they're made extremely well, very responsive, put a lot more effort into things like facial expressions with this game in particular. When you get to, what's her name? Sarah? Is that her name in this game?
Yeah.
Sarah? Yeah, like for 2004, like these models and body language and the amount of movement in the face and whatnot was very advanced for the time, and it still holds up extremely well. So we played Metal Gear Solid 2. We'll call it relatively recently, or at least I did. And like I'm playing that game and this game and even the next game we're going to talk about. They're all in that same line of everything's made super well. Everything came out not broken at the time because there was still that technology limitation to what they wanted to do. So they had to work around it and limit different aspects. So the balance between the psychic abilities and gunplay was a huge aspect of this limitation, and it just simply works very well for what you want to do in the game. So there's my little diatribe on that aspect. As you can tell, I really like Psi-Ops.
Didn't notice.
I have to go back to it now and actually play it because I was upset.
Maybe you can download the freeware version by the website Major Geeks, which hosted it in 2018.
Ooh.
That seems to be absolutely free, and it's legit.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to now.
Not illegal.
Yes. Well, now I'm going to have to. I was upset because I was having a good time, but like it was just, I couldn't fucking see it, dude.
Yeah, it still suffers from that kind of bland macho protagonist thing, but that's...
You mean the ideal male?
Oh, Kevin, let's calm down here. I mean, when I look at it,
all right, was I too toxic masculine for you right there?
Toxic? What are you talking about? This guy's sexy as fuck. You kidding me? You just said he was the ideal male, and I got a little. My clothes started getting tighter.
I hate his muscles. Ugh.
He's disgust. Oh, he works out. Oh yeah, he does.
Fucking dare he work out? What about people who don't want to work out?
God. Yeah,
that's you and me.
Don't throw me in there.
It's like I don't want to work out, but I guess I'll go once a week.
I force myself.
Personal responsibility? Sacrilege! Cancel him!
Don't need that. I need to be born that way.
Just get muscle implants.
Oh, there's an idea. Hold on.
Like, yeah, why would you do the work? Staple your stomach and get muscle implants.
Okay, you got a good point there.
Yeah, you don't have to do any work.
Oh, except there's this whole like not free healthcare thing, but whatever.
I don't think free healthcare would solve that.
Well, then what the fuck am I here for?
Well, okay. What you do is you go to this thing called a job. You earn money, and then that will earn your way to getting your muscle implants and stomach
stapled. I don't want to earn anything in life. Stop it.
So give me everything, and if you don't, you're a bigot.
Yeah, how dare you?
Do you want butt implants?
Dude, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I want calf implants. I got tiny calves, no matter how much I work out my legs.
Calf implants.
I really do.
Join bowling, your calves will get a good workout. Surprisingly,
I do enough physical activities. They should be bigger.
No. Oh, I saw a funny ass fucking bowling joke the other day.
Go on.
So I came across an entire like Twitter thread over a guy who just posted, if you got a friend who goes bowling and he shows up with his own equipment, fuck you. It's not that serious.
I agree with this guy.
So I was like, okay, that's kind of funny, but I'm also like insulted because, I love bowling. It's kind of my whole life.
Stairs in bowling.
So I click on the thread because it has like 23,000 likes and there's a million comments. And one comment in particular was, yeah, I went bowling and this guy showed up with his old equipment. And I go, dude, you're like 350 pounds. You're drinking beer and you're good at this game. And he goes, what other sport am I going to play? Of course I'm bowling. I was like, shit.
It's not wrong.
And I thought about it for all of like 5 seconds. And I go, yeah, there's a lot of people on Wednesday and Friday nights that, I drink when I bowl. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you can do the sport,
it makes the game harder, guys.
You're volunteering to give other people a handicap, which honestly is admirable of you.
Look, man, my 2:30 average on Fridays is I gotta drink. Otherwise,
you see some sex for the rest of us. Calm down.
Hey, baby, got an engineering degree and a 2:30 bowling average. What do you think about that? Ew.
She definitely thought about it.
She thought about something, and it definitely was not sex. Okay.
So about Psyops.
About Psyops, telekinesis. I like how that's the basic go-to move in this. It just makes it seamlessly to work. I mean, just picking up a box and chucking it against an enemy, and then they ragdoll across the screen. There was no, you have to hit an enemy 3-4 fucking times, and they stand there and just take it. It's just box, hits him, he's dead, move on. Love it.
I like it.
And also grabbing enemies that are like 3 stories above you and pulling them over the edge so they fall to their deaths. I love doing that.
Yeah, did you think at any point in the game, Colin, that it was an overwhelmingly amount of enemies or not enough?
Yeah, I remember one section that I played last night, going through like this yard of big crates, like the big metal crates, and then at one point there was like literally dozens of enemies all at once. I get that you have to use mind control to try and get one of them to kill the others, and they'll stop shooting at you during that, but at the same time it was a lot of fucking enemies. I ran completely out of first aid stuff, and I had a lot at that point. And I was also almost out of like the psychic power rejuvenator things.
Did you just buy more psychic power at the store?
Yeah, microtransactions. Unlock extra special super ability.
Well, everyone knows you just buy psychic power rejuvenator down at Big Y. I mean,
Yeah. It reminds me of the Angry Joe joke, and now my earn money to buy your implants was probably taken from that. Angry Joe did a I forget which review it was, but he was talking about microtransaction. He goes, and they're like, "Oh, you can earn it in the game." And he goes, "Yeah, I went to a job, I got money, so I earned it, and then I bought this thing in the game. I earned it." And they're like, "You don't understand what that is." He's like, No, you don't understand. So if I want this other thing, I go to work for a couple more hours, I grind."
Why is going to work in games and getting money and experience more fun?
He's like, no, I go to an actual job. I grind for another 2 hours there. I get more money. I might have to wait a couple weeks for the paycheck, but I'll get it. And then I can get my cat ears.
The cat ears and Halo are all I'm giving that game. I just remember being on the subreddit, and then everyone was like, "Man, this game needs more content. Like, what the hell's wrong with this game?" Cat ears came out, and was like, "Never mind, this game's pretty cool." Like, immediate turnaround. I was like, "Wow, guys." I mean, it's gone back the other way because they need more cat ears.
I did not like the remote viewing. The
what is
clairvoyance ability. That one in
Yeah.
psychic games can get fucked. I hate that.
Yeah, I barely used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like. I'm glad I could skip the tutorial because I remembered it when I booted up and was like, nope, skipping this, hate it. We'll never use it except like the 2 times right after this where it forces me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never ever.
Be good.
Good.
And I think this game ended on a cliffhanger, didn't it?
Yes. So it's building up to this big final boss battle, and it totally sets up for a sequel. Like 2 helicopters are like recovering like these artifacts that you're getting, and Nick crashes like the 2 helicopters or one of them with his telekinesis, and then the screen just goes black and goes to be continued. And I remember in 2004 when that happened, and for the next like 6 months to a year, even in Germany, I'm like, when's the sequel coming out? This game was awesome. Nothing from Midway.
Oh.
And I think one problem was they got hit with a lawsuit over the game's like plot and what it was with because there was I think a movie that was called Psi-Ops at the time.
It's not a tie-in?
No, it was a completely separate thing, and the court went with Midway on it because there was just no evidence of copyright infringement or anything, because there was no way to prove that they knew this dude who wrote the screenplay, and the fact that the movie wasn't out yet.
Okay.
But I think that was a huge detractor in even making the sequel, because it was shortly after that the lawsuit was filed. But they're I don't know who owns this copyright now, because Midway's I think they're just done as a company, aren't they?
Everything is that they had went to WB.
I don't think it was everything though.
Maybe not. Maybe I made it up.
I think WB has, well, they clearly have Mortal Kombat. I don't know about Spy Hunter. And did WB come out with the Cruisin' USA?
I think Nintendo owns Cruisin'.
Okay, so Nintendo got Cruisin', because that used to be a Midway game.
Right, but I don't know if they always owned it.
I don't know. Cruisin' Blast came out. That's Nintendo, right?
Yeah, it is.
Cruisin' Blast. Fun game, by the way. Really like that.
Yeah. Someone buy it for me.
I believe it's on sale right now.
I said somebody buy it for me.
I believe it's like $10 right now.
I said I'm poor.
It's developed by Raw Thrills.
That's the guy that made that's Eugene Jarvis's company.
Explain.
Robotron, man.
Explain yourself.
The guy that made Robotron.
What's Robotron? Explain yourself.
You don't know what Robotron? I don't know if you're fucking with me now.
I know what it is.
I'm gonna see how
The
long
original twin stick shooters.
It's no Tesla versus Lovecraft on mobile, but
full circle. Yeah, love this game. I'll save my tier for later, but easy pass for me.
Yep, easy pass.
I'll pass it for what I could play.
Yeah, you definitely got to get back to this game. It's if you can get your shitty TV or a better version where you can actually see better.
I didn't come here to be TV shamed, but okay, yeah.
My next big purchase is now a 4K 2.0 USB TV.
I don't know what I'm not going to fit on this desk. I might mount it to the concrete, maybe. Fuck it.
Yeah, next purchase being saved for. Okay, so Psyops Mindgate Conspiracy runs for about 13 hours, and you can get it for about $15 on PS2, $10 on Xbox. So very affordable game. Highly recommend it. Absolutely.
Or free.
Or just free on PC, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're a retro collector and you want it on old console,
go touch grass. Go get it for free.
Dude, you think I'm going to go outside and touch grass? It's cold out there, and it's frozen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
Kidding me? I'm not going to do that shit.
All right. Well, then, never mind then.
And it makes me itchy, kind of. I'm like allergic to it in a weird way.
Who the fuck is allergic to grass?
Me. It sucks.
Yeah, you got to go get that fixed.
Makes me all itchy. It's yeah, okay. Excuse me, doctor. Do you have a cure for grass?
Maybe. Ironically, I signed you marijuana.
Yeah. Well, if you smoke it, it'll make everything better.
Go on.
All right, second game.
Yeah. Second game is Psychonauts on PC, PS2, and Xbox.
It didn't come out on GameCube?
No.
Oh, how about that?
GameCube was not powerful enough.
I could see that with what this game was. Yeah.
Yes. Big game game.
So rejoice, Kevin. You finally get to talk about this game on the Red Leaf Retrocast.
I don't know if I have good things to say about it though.
That's okay. I have a couple really bad things to say about the game and a lot of praise.
Yeah. It's here's one thing just to preface it. When people talk more about how unique a game is and how unique it looks, I think I've said it here before, that's like a red flag to me, because then nobody really talks about the gameplay. I'm like, yes, but what about the gameplay? They're like, but it looks so unique.
And it's so like, unique. Okay. All the characters are interesting and weird, and the story's funky, and it's like, okay, but
why does everyone look like they have a disease?
Well,
no, a physical disease, not a mental disease in this game.
Have you ever seen a Tim Burton movie?
Yeah, I don't like them for that reason. I don't like Invader Zim because everyone looks like they have issues.
Yeah, isn't Tim Schafer like a big Tim Burton mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
he
think
was
so.
he was the director of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, the game was developed by Double Fine Productions and published by Majesco Entertainment, and released on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC on April 19th, 2005.
There we go.
And the plot is as follows. Our main character, Rasputin, or Raz as he likes to call himself, has run away from his family in the circus to join Whispering Rock's psychic summer camp. The people running the place don't want to just let him in without parents' permission, but his enormous potential can't be ignored, so he starts receiving some unofficial training, and along the way, Raz discovers there's much more to the camp than meets the eye, and a great big adventure ensues, including a whole bit where all the other kids are having their brains stolen by getting them sneezed out of their skulls.
As one does. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That seems right.
And there's lots of quirky characters in here, including a shy, nervous little boy who wears a literal tinfoil hat so he doesn't accidentally make other people's head explode. And fun fact, Raz is voiced by Richard Stephen Horvitz, the same guy who voiced Invader Zim.
And there it is.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of. I think there's more voice actors in here. I believe another one was the voice of Spike from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah, Steve Bloom.
Yeah. Steve Bloom. Yeah, he's in this.
Yeah, he had done Full Throttle before this, so it makes sense.
There you go. He's got the crew together.
Yeah. And yeah, this game is definitely very unique and a lot of fun. I mean, you travel through other people's heads whose portals to their mind manifest as doors within a big collective unconsciousness dimension.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of trippy shit going on in this game. And I like that in some characters' heads you can find past traumas from their lives that they've already confronted and compartmentalized.
Dude,
Like
this
in the
game
Lady
was
Council.
much more mature than I was expecting.
Yeah. Yeah, like in the lady counselor's head, it's largely one big disco party, but if you get to a certain hidden area, you find out she had a bunch of kids in the past that all died in a house fire while she was out grocery shopping.
Yeah, totally fucked.
And then if you jump into a nearby pit, you see ghostly mental projections of what she imagined them saying. Like,
I
"You
got to
killed
that.
us."
Yeah, I got to that point in the game too. I was like, "What the fuck? This is wild."
Yeah.
There's like characters that contemplate suicide all the time and actually tried.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah. There's all fucked up mental anguishes in this game. It's really wild.
Yeah.
Is that the Tumblr section?
Well,
Bad joke.
Ah. Although you do travel to that
the
big,
internet's bad for everybody.
you do travel to that big unconscious dimension through something called a brain tumbler, so works on 2 levels. And yeah, I know you guys had negative things to say about the gameplay, but I didn't think it was too bad. I mean, the platforming reminded me a lot of Super Mario Sunshine. It's like trampoline bouncing, tightrope walking.
See, it was reminding me of Sly Cooper. So we're kind of on the same page there.
Yeah, those are kind of the same.
Yeah.
One did it better.
Did it?
Yeah.
It was like Cooper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You say so.
And I like that the gameplay stays fairly fresh when you get new abilities as the game progresses, like being able to fire projectiles straight from your head, or getting pyrokinesis or telekinesis. I mean, your basic attack is like you swinging a big spectral hand. But one thing I found aggravating was that at one point you need a cobweb duster to advance the story.
Ugh.
And that thing is like, it's for clearing mental cobwebs, but you need to buy it from the camp store. You have to find a shit ton of arrowheads, which are the game's currency.
Okay, and follow-up question. How do you find these arrowheads?
You have to use a special dowsing rod.
And how do you get the dowsing rod?
You buy it from the store.
Okay, but what do you need to buy the dowsing rod from the store?
Hey, wait a minute. I'm seeing a pattern here.
Uh-huh. The arrowheads.
Yes.
This piece of shit currency was so ridiculous, and it really halted the game. I hated it so much, this arrowhead thing.
Only there were some kind of microtransactions we can do to get more arrowheads.
You shut up. No.
Yeah, that whole bit felt like needless busy work. I mean, couldn't we have just gotten the item from one of the levels we just went through?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, the entire arrowhead system is, to me, it's broken. It's not, like, technically broken, but with how much time it takes to collect these and find them to get your... Because the store only has those, 4 weapons in it, and they're all pertinent to completing the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I will give that section this, it caused me to discover the telekinetic bears and pyrokinetic wildcats.
Oh, they're assholes.
Yes, audience, you heard me right.
Yeah, don't worry about it. They're psychic bears.
Yeah.
Although, did you ever experience hearing those animals like way off in the distance, but they're nowhere in sight?
I think so.
I was like, where the fuck are these things? I couldn't ever see them.
You just left your window open.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, many psychic bears outside in the not woods of Rhode Island.
But yeah, I really like this game. It's very creative, very fun. Although I think I'm still in the first half of the game because, as some have said, it kind of drops off in quality after that point and ramps up in difficulty.
Yeah, it had some development issues. I think it was more legal with being an Xbox exclusive at first, and then they had to stop development, and then it waited. So even though the game was in like a 5-year dev cycle, it was actually only 2.
Oh man!
Because of whatever they were going through, they couldn't actually work on the game. It was something like that I was reading.
That sucks.
Yeah, I really like how they incorporated the character's past into why he's able to be this crazy platform kid. It's because he's a circus freak from a gypsy clan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his parents hate psychics.
Well, in my experience with gypsies in Eastern Europe, they have a negative culture around them, so that checks out.
Yeah. And his family also has a.
Everyone knows of my experiences and with gypsies in like Romania and stuff, and in Germany, and in France.
I'm not sure I am, but
whatever. Are you a gypsy?
No, I am not.
Okay, because
the short version is the what the Americans, because of that one show, it's like Gypsy Lovers or whatever of in New York. You know what I'm talking about? There's that show.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, Americans have this incorrect outlook on what and who gypsies are in comp to the culture in Eastern Europe. In New York, they're like, oh, we own psychic shops, and so there's your connection there as well to this game. They own psychic shops, and they run stores, and they just do like palm reading stuff, and they have a whole family culture behind them, and they sometimes travel a lot in carriages, and that's where a lot of this is. While in Europe they are thieves and off the grid, and they have no identification to any sort of government or anything, and their whole thing is to steal from like you and I, because they earned the right to steal from you. That is their culture in Eastern Europe. It's really negative. Yeah.
They sound like dicks.
Yes. my most famous story was I was on a train from Budapest to Timișoara, Romania, and an old woman, like I had my bag hooked in my arm, and I was falling asleep, and this old gypsy woman just tried to steal my bag out of my arms, and she goes, "No, it's mine." I was like, "Fuck you, get out of here!" And then I hear a whistle blow, and just tons of people. Because we approached the Romanian border, tons of people just scatter in all directions, and there was the guy next to me just goes, "There goes the gypsies, running away from the police," because they were trying to steal on the train this whole time, and they have no ID to get into countries.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh boy.
What we learned.
There you go. There's so Rasputin and his gypsy origins. He ran away from home, and he has. Yeah. He's mentally damaged from that lifestyle of being in that traveling circus.
Dude.
Yeah. Did we learn something today?
Yeah. Gypsies are dicks.
Well, at least in Eastern Europe.
Well. Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to Europe?
No.
Are you aware of like people that sleep in boxes outside train stations?
I think that's just called homeless people. We have them around here all the time.
So, not homeless people. They're gypsies choosing to do that. And they
right,
have like...
So gypsies are dumb too. Got it.
Yeah, they choose to do that. So, what they do is they get like, futons and whatnot, set up a cardboard box outside a train station or various places where a lot of people commute. And you will see them on like modern day cell phones and all kinds of things, and their clothes aren't really all that tattered. They're sometimes borderline quite nice, and they will hang out there. And what it is the families will send them to those locations to live and to steal from people at these places and send the money back to whatever poor country they're currently living in, mostly in Romania or parts of Italy. And there will be whole like suburban type villages in these, just let's call them $1 million homes in the aspect of of those countries, and that's just how they get all their money. Isn't that nuts?
That is a little weird.
Yeah, and they'll train their children like 6 years old to just to pickpocket you from behind. Yeah, history lessons and modern culture.
Well, good thing Raz got out of that life.
He sure did, and he's getting psychic abilities to bitch slap people in their minds.
That sounds way cooler than stealing box chains.
So this game was actually a commercial failure. I think we all know this if you know anything about Psychonauts.
Yep.
In its first year, it sold 100,000 copies only. A absolute failure. It pretty much closed down Double Fine Productions like immediately. Or no, it closed down Majesto Entertainment, the publisher, because they couldn't sell enough. And it wasn't until like 6 years later, after the licensed expired, it went to Double Fine by default, and then they just go, okay, release it on Steam, like kind of upgraded, and Humble Bundle and all these kinds of things. Within the first like week, they sold like 1 million copies.
It almost sounds like a Majesco fault.
Yeah, kind of, right? Not very, because I kind of vaguely remember this. It wasn't advertised very well. Nobody knew about it. It really kind of mirrors what happened with Beyond Good and Evil. It's a very similar kind of story, where it just became this crazy cult classic later on rather than at release, despite great reviews at the time.
Well, when it's accessible to more people via digital download, I mean, and then word of mouth spreads, I'm not totally shocked. You see that with games all the time now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what warranted kind of the sequel to everything many, many years later, and working on it, and a VR game to kind of keep people busy in between if you have it. I've played that VR game. I have it. It's quite fun. Use the VR and you go into people's minds and kind of dick around. It's simple. It's easy. Yeah.
Brain fucking.
Yeah, kind of.
Gross.
I thought they could do a little bit more with the psychic abilities in this game, despite having mostly the same thing. The telekinesis, pyrokinesis, it's very popular. Didn't have the electric ability, which was pretty wild. I like that in Psi-Ops. Invisibility, Okay, that's fine. But the levitation like completely broke the game.
Yeah.
You have this little ball that you go on, and when everything's supposed to be a double jump, once you get the levitation, it's just, oh, you can go everywhere and anywhere, and it's way easier. And it even has, and it's not just the ball that you're on. You can also like put it above you, and it'll hover you and give you like a little extra boost on top of that to control your landing.
Yeah, that was you're supposed to glide downward with that.
Right. Yeah, and it makes the entire platforming element of the game like non-difficult from that point forward.
Yeah.
So Kevin, you got words for this game?
I mean, I got words in the sense that like everyone calls it's so unique and quirky, but honestly, I found it to be like a pretty average platformer. Like gameplay wise, the story's, we talked about it, super deep and super, I don't want to overuse the word unique, but like it is a dark game and it is something that you wouldn't really see for that time. But like, I just feel like this game's too long. Like it kind of overstayed its welcome for me. Like right when I got to Glorious Theater, that's when I was really starting to be like, okay, like now these levels are getting kind of stupid. I just feel like they got too complex. I had no idea where to go or like what my exact goal was, and its charm kind of fell off around that point.
Yeah, I could see that. Where you need to go isn't exactly clear for a lot of the game. At least that's what I experienced as well. I agree. I kind of had a guide with me at good points. Yeah. Like where do I get to? Totally not Agent Smith down below.
Yeah.
Like how do I find this dude? How do I get there? Like there's so many aspects of that just isn't quite clear for what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of become a thing in my life now when people talk more about a game's like style versus like the game. I immediately get like red flags going off in my head and I go, okay, but the gameplay, which is you can have the most unique looking game in the world and be super quirky, but like the game part has to be fun. I feel like this game could have been 4 hours long and been just as good, if not better.
I don't know. I mean, how long to beat has it set at 12? That's not too bad.
For a platformer, like 8 is like my kind of limit.
8 to 10 seems to be a good number for action platformers like this.
And again, had a good story. I have not played the second one yet.
Me neither.
I'll have to spend the whole price of Game Pass to download it. So, I can deal with it anytime I want to. It's just like, I don't know. 3D platformers are hit or miss for me. I much prefer 2D. I feel like they have the pressure because they're 3D to be longer than they need to, if that makes sense. But the whole aesthetic of this game, I don't drive with it too much.
So the only part that really bothered me, besides the direction, I think there was definitely a lack of, which we mentioned now, is just the collectible aspect. Constantly throughout the game, there's so many currencies. What is there, like 6?
Yeah, this is too many.
There's 6 currencies that you got to get. You got to get emotional baggage. You got the names are funny though. What are they all? Let's see. Emotional baggage. What's some others?
There's the cards.
The arrowheads we talked about.
The cards, the arrowheads, I
think there's like the psychic eyes or psi orbs, I think.
Yeah, something like. So there's so many of them, and they're kind of hard to see depending on what level you're on. Mm-hmm. So the emotional baggage ones are figments. That's what I was thinking of. They're called figments of the character's imagination. Ooh. The figments are these kind of neon translucent squares, essentially, and there's so much.
They're like little doodles.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're really hard to see at times, especially from a distance. Yeah. And there's a couple levels where I'm like right on top of them and just didn't see them. And they're really important to raise Rasputin's Psi ranking to do more damage and whatnot, and all that. The boss battles are unique to each other. I like that. I always like my boss battles being different and different levels, and that seems to be kind of a must if you're doing that. That's all good. And what's So the amount of collect 'em up in this game is just too much, and honestly, by this point in the mid 2000s, that time's come and gone. That's a mid 90s shtick that this game just shouldn't have had.
Yeah.
That's my opinion over the collect 'em ups, especially the arrowheads. Get rid of it altogether. I hated the arrowheads so much.
It's one of those reasons why I don't hate Banjo-Kazooie, but like it turns me off because it's just like it's almost like a detraction from the actual game. Like I'm not a big side questy guy as it is, but like when you make your what feels like a side quest part of the game to only make me progress because you like for no good reason other than because we put it in the game, I get turned off.
So when you play something like Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64,
oh, I won't because I don't hate myself.
Well,
but, yeah.
What makes those games good collect 'em ups, in my opinion, is as you're playing through the levels, the collect 'em ups are just as you're traversing through, without much issue. And when it finally like starts becoming an issue, same thing with Spyro, is to progress through the later levels, you have to have X amount. That's when it becomes a problem. That's when you have to start backtracking through levels and find whatever's left. And in some of those games, in the past, you have to recollect everything.
Yeah,
which is annoying. Don't like that. So this game kind of fell into that to a small extent, but it is important for all of these different items you have to collect to progress in the game, which is very aggravating when there's so many different ones you have to worry about. It was cool though that everything in this game had an animation. Everything had a cutscene, essentially. Very good humor that really vibed with me. It was very much of the time that, like, what would we say, like Nickelodeon in the early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah. Invader Zim. Not so much Ren and Stimpy. Not as gross as that, but it's All Real Monsters. That kind of functions a similar way.
It was a little before, but yeah, same deal.
Yeah, it's that kind of humor and presentation to it all. So once I kind of accepted that this is just what I don't like, and I just looked up guides to where things are and what I need to worry about later, my pure visceral negativity to the game kind of went away. I know that's kind of making an excuse for the game. I do realize that. But when we're playing a lot of old games like this, retro games, there are some aspects we have to, with modern eyes, to get through the game, we have to go, okay, modern technology is here. If the map is bad, then I'll just pull up a map on the internet that's better, and so I'll get through these parts that I don't like, or are overly difficult, or you get the idea.
Right. I need a game that respects my time, is my big thing in life. Like, as I get older, you know, people rag on me because like I'll look things up as I'm playing a game, which I never understood because like you bought Nintendo Powers back in the day. How come those are cool? But anyway, like I got shit to do, and like I don't feel like Psychonauts respects my time. Like I don't want to go back and get all this little shit just because I have to. Like I just want to get through the levels and do what I got to do. You know?
Yeah, I mean, respect time is. I think that's more of a modern critique rather than an old one. Because the old one, the whole purpose, the retro games back then, especially when you're kids, you have all the time in the world. And the games, especially in the 90s, the games didn't function to be long.
But I still don't feel like they respect my time. Even like back then, it's just like, I'm glad you played this for 3 hours. Oh, you died and no continues? Fuck you, all the way over. Like,
well, yeah, that's how they extended the game period of time. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and it was also a detractor, so you didn't rent it from Blockbuster and beat it and then not buy the game. That was another aspect of gaming back then. My big critique was it had this collect 'em up aspect, which I think that in that time frame, what made that popular, that time had passed, which actually might have been a big, I mean, besides the poor advertising for the game, but that might have been a big detractor for a lot of people and consumers at the time. That, I don't want another collect 'em up. I just went through an entire generation of collect 'em ups.
Yes, that's fair.
What do you think, Colin?
Makes sense to me. Of course, as far as like really older games are concerned, a lot of the developers had just come away from developing arcade games.
Yes.
Which were designed to take your money. So
Sure.
of course the early games are going to be super hard.
But like then you look at games like Super Mario World or like Super Mario 3, Nintendo did it right. They're like, hey, we were going to put you back a little bit, you know?
Yeah, but you're also talking about one of the greatest game developers of all time.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying it was possible. Some people had the fucking brain power.
Well, not everyone is as smart as him, okay?
Well, Mr. Nintendo figured it out. That's all.
Mr. Nintendo. Actually, that's a good name for him.
So yeah, Psychonauts is okay. If you got Game Pass, listen, I'd tell you to play it, but I think it is one of those. Everyone calls it like one of those underrated gems. I will call it one of the most overrated, underrated games of all time.
No.
So we got another Alan Wake.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. So I mentioned that Psychonauts is about 12 hours to beat, depending on how much extra content you want to do. It's still very cheap to get. Xbox, it's let's see here. Oh, okay, no. The PC version is like $10. My bad. The PAL versions are cheap. The American versions, Xbox is $32, PS2 is $35, and there is an IM 8-bit Psychonauts release for the PlayStation 4 that's $200.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's funny.
Yeah. Collectors are weird, bro.
So if you want the modern one, that's the most expensive. That's kind of opposite of what we go through now.
Or Game Pass. Blessed be that Game Pass.
Okay, so we covered Psi-Ops, Mindgate Conspiracy, and Psychonauts. Colin, it's your theme pick. Your tiers, please, and your favorite.
Well, my favorite's actually Psychonauts.
Ooh, okay.
I just had more fun with it than I did Psi-Ops. Keep in mind, I played both of those games fresh. No previous experience. And Psi-Ops tier, I mean, the game's decent. I don't think I'd put it on my all-time favorites list, but I still had fun with it. So I gave it a B. And Psychonauts, I give it an A. Would be an S if the gameplay were better. But
okay.
What other game is there that allows you to summon a scientist to talk to you by waving bacon next to your ear?
No, it's very true. It's very true. Very important aspect. Okay, Kevin.
So my Psyops one is obviously I didn't get very far because I can't see. I can see it potentially being a B.
Okay.
But for me right now, it's a C until I get back to it one day because can't focus C. Psychonauts I'd also I Psychonauts I'd also give a C. Look, it's not bad. It's just I think there's better 3D platformers out there that you could spend your time with. But if you've been to Hot Topic more than one time a week in middle school, you probably like it more than I do. So,
I'm gonna like negate you guys' scores. I'm giving Psyops an A and Psychonauts a B, which makes them both. Yeah, which makes it both a B in the end. So that's kind of funny. Yeah.
Well, there we are.
So next pick is Joey's theme for episode 110.
He's going to be playing Tapper.
Yeah.
Because beer.
Yeah, well, I guess the group of us will get together and pick our next amount of themes going forward. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Colin, for joining. I've done this many times throughout the cast. The K's are killing me.
It's
Kevin.
a C for him, but okay.
Well, it's the same cuh sound.
True.
Yeah. Kevin, thanks for joining. Where can people find you these days?
If you want some really bad opinions and dumb things I say, find me at Console Kev on Twitter. And if you want dumb things I say while I'm playing video games, it's twitch.tv/ConsoleKev. Today's Fortnite Day. Yay.
Fortnite Day. All right. This was the Red Leaf Retrocast. Thank you everyone for joining. See you next time.